I didn't really feel like doing this video tonight. I was feeling a bit sad today. No reason, just hormones, I guess. So excuse the attire and the bad hair. I've just been doing a little bit of yoga, there's the mat, to try and make myself feel a little bit better, and it has helped a little bit. So I've wanted to do this video since starting the channel, but I've been saving it. And the reason I've been saving it is because it is a little bit of a divisive topic. It's going to be a little bit prickly for some people. And also because of the date. So 2 years ago tomorrow, so the 18th of November 2023, I stopped drinking alcohol. And this wasn't about being sober or anything like that. I didn't have an addiction to alcohol. But in that period of time after the breast cancer diagnosis, and I started on this transformation journey, and I started exploring a vast array of different improvements I needed to make to my life. And I was listening to a particular podcast, and forgive me, I can't remember which one it was, where it was mentioned about the link between alcohol and breast cancer reoccurrence. Obviously, this piqued my interest. So I thought, as always, I will gather my own gather my own information and do this from a variety of sources, as I always try to do. So the first thing I did was, there's a Facebook group that I'm a member of. For fact's sake, it's Davinia Taylor's, and I asked a couple of questions on there, and some people recommended some books for me to listen to and some podcasts. And the podcast that really helped is the Andrew Huberman podcast. I think it's episode 86 or 88. It's about 2 hours long. I listened to it twice. It's a lot of information to take on board, but amazing. And then the books were This Naked Mind, which I don't have to show you, and I didn't show you previously because I've passed it on to a friend, and also the Sober Diaries by Claire, and forgive me, I can't remember her surname. Hers started with a blog, and hers was about addiction, but then she also got breast cancer. Anyways, I did this research of my own, and there's no, I'm sorry to say it, there's no getting around it. There is now sufficient evidence that alcohol is a category 1 carcinogen. So the body that did it, that I can't remember what they're called, but they are part of the World Health Organization. They categorise it as a category 1 carcinogen, which is in the same category as, I think, tobacco, asbestos. It's linked to a lot of cancers, oral cancer, obviously liver cancer, a couple of others which escape me. I'm having a very hormonal day today. Maybe I need to treat my HRT. And breast cancer, particularly estrogen receptor positive. And what's interesting is, when I asked about this at the hospital when I was going through diagnosis and treatment, nobody mentioned it to me. Nobody in the UK NHS at any point said, do you drink alcohol? There are strong links. You should probably stop. And when I asked, people said, as I've said before on this channel, it's just bad luck. Nothing you did. Now, I was born in the 70s, I grew up in the 80s, where alcohol was a rite of passage. You went to the pub, well, certainly where I grew up, you went to the pub underage. It was a badge of honour. And at 18, that's what you did, you went to the pub. If you didn't drink, there was either something wrong with you, you were boring, or you were the designated driver, and that made you boring. But alcohol was certainly seen as central to social life. It still is. But more and more people are becoming zero alcohol curious. I've seen that in the pubs where I live. because I still do all those things. I go to the pub and I drink zeros or water, or there's lots of nice botanical aperitifs or digestives one can have now, or sometimes just a glass of water with some fresh fruit. Doesn't really matter. But more and more pubs are starting to stock zero or no alcohol drinks, and when I ask, they say it's not necessarily people in my age bracket. It's a lot. I'm in a big student area, Bristol University, and they say it's a lot of young people that are just deciding they don't want that in their life. Now, I wasn't addicted to alcohol, but I think it's probably my age entering the menopause, but as I got older, my tolerance for it got less. But what I found was, I started drinking alcohol when I was about 14, 15, and the amount of alcohol I have poured down my neck over the years is shocking, frightening. And when you look at the statistics, don't take my word for it, look it up yourself. When you look at the statistics of rate of recurrence or risk of recurrence in breast cancer, I think it's something like, I did write something down here and I can't read my own writing, but it's something like 1 drink a day, I think possibly give you a 20% increase of a reoccurrence compared to like 12% of someone who doesn't drink, or something like. It's frightening. My GP is very forward thinking. I'm very lucky to have her. When I talked about I didn't want to take the tamoxifen, but I'd stopped drinking, and she said to me that she's the only person in the NHS, the only person, I correct my earlier statement, there was one, my GP, and she said something like, that is the single best thing you could do for your health, is to stop drinking and not have alcohol. One of the single best thing you've done. And I don't miss it. I think it took me a couple of weeks to adjust, not withdrawal. It was more just finding my feet of going out and socialising without it. And a week or two and I'd found my rhythm. And I don't miss it at all now. I still go to the pub, I still go out for dinner, I still do everything the same. I just don't drink alcohol. And I don't miss it. But what's interesting is all the benefits that I got from it that I didn't expect. I used to get rosacea. Now, okay, you could say my skin is pink now, but that's because I've been doing yoga and it's a warm room. But I used to get rosacea sort of around here and gone. I used to get like flakiness in my eyebrows, gone. My hair, shinier, softer, grows faster. I used to get little red marks on my chest here, gone. My nails grow quicker. I sleep, but sleep is probably one of the best things. Even 1 glass of alcohol, if you wear a sleep monitor, you'll know that I don't want to monitor my sleep, but if you do, even 1 glass of wine, one alcoholic unit can significantly disrupt your sleep. I think that's one of the first things after about a week, because I think it takes about 5 to 7 days for alcohol to fully leave your body. I didn't get any withdrawal, but then I didn't drink every day. I was typically a weekend drinker, so I'd probably have a glass of wine on a Thursday, and then I'd go out with my husband on a Friday, and I might have 4 or 5 vodkas with soda, or 3 glasses of wine, and then we'd go out on a Saturday and I'd have wine with dinner, and then occasionally on a Sunday we'd have some wine. Or in the summer we might have gone round to the pub and had a couple of beers, and that was probably about it, unless it was a special occasion that I was going out in the week for a birthday or something like that. And so sleep within about a week, just deeper, better, less waking up. And waking up on a Saturday and a Sunday and a Monday just feeling, I do get a bit of anxiety, and that's part of my menopause journey, but oh my God, the difference. I cannot tell you how much better I feel waking up on a weekend. So I can do a late night now and wake up and go, oh, I just feel a little bit tired, but no hangover, no anxiety. You lose weight, bloat, just My eyes are clearer. Just, there are millions of benefits. But don't take my word for it. If you're curious, have a read of the book yourself. So This Naked Mind and the Andrew Huberman podcast, I think it's episode 86 or 88, but if you just Google it and listen to it yourself, don't take my word for it, but and ask ChatGPT, Google it. It's, don't come at me for this. It's not me. The evidence is there. It's, unfortunately, it's a bit, I like to compare it to what tobacco was like probably in the 70s or maybe earlier. Everybody knows. People who make it know, but it's a £1 billion pound, listen to American podcasts, too many American podcasts. It's £1 billion industry, and that's the other thing. The only time I ever had around my husband, and we didn't row very often, but the only time we ever fell out was when we had alcohol. Hardly ever. We might bicker occasionally, but I don't. I was quite a happy drunk. I just repeat myself a lot. But it's interesting that not everybody reacts positively. People were suspicious. I've lost friends, definitely lost friends. There was some friends who didn't even give me a chance to, I was like, I'm still the same person, I still want to do all the same things, and I was dropped like a stone. They didn't even explore. And then other friendships have just changed and evolved, and it does make me sad. I've not got that many friends now. They've drifted away, and I think it was either the cancer or it's that I don't drink. I think it's not drinking, even though I still do all the same things. And I think I'm better company because I'm much more present now. I remember things. I can hold conversations better rather than repeating myself or going, oh, sorry, what did you say? I'm very present. I remember things perfectly. I don't wake up. Oh, that's another benefit. Not waking up the next morning going, oh God, did I talk too much? Did I say anything embarrassing? Was I a pain in the arse? None of that. I think I'm a better company, a better friend, because I'm more present. You save money as well. I haven't really tracked it, but you will. And I do, I feel it's a poison. Ethanol is a toxin. There's no getting around it. For me, I do not miss alcohol at all. I miss that I've lost some friends and some friendships have changed, and that makes me feel really sad. But I think that's it. Even my own parents didn't really understand, and they still don't really get it. They're like, they're still of the mindset of, if you're ill, you have a hot toddy with a triple whiskey because that is medicinal, and brandy is medicinal. Or you got toothache, put a bit of whiskey on it. That's all rubbish. But they're of a certain age. My dad's 86. Sorry, 80. Yeah, 85, doing my disservice. And, my mum's 78. They're not going to change now. But when I stopped drinking, they're like, but we've bought you a bottle of brandy for Christmas. What are we supposed to do with it? And I just don't think they understood. But anyway, take from this what you will. Don't take my word for it. Look it up. If it's something you're curious about, there's the podcast, read the book. There's plenty of other books as well on this now. But I promise you, if it is something you're curious about and you want to do, it's nowhere near as hard as you think. It's actually really easy. And you'll notice some benefits really quickly, really, really quickly. My husband he wasn't overweight, but he had like the moobs gone because he decided to join me for his own health reasons. And the moobs are, I think it's about estrogen, and what alcohol does is it increases the sort of estrogen in your body. I think that's what it does. But it's what it does to disrupt the brain, the chemistry in the brain. And so and this is what you'll get from the Huberman Andrew Huberman podcast, when you think that those first drinks are calming you down, you listen to how he explains it, because, oh my God, I can't explain it. And it's quite the opposite. It's not doing that to you at all. It's messing with your brain chemistry of a massive level. And when I think about the damage that I've done, I mean, I was drinking when in my like 15, 16, 17, my frontal lobe wasn't developed. My brain wasn't fully developed. I think the frontal lobe developed when you're about 22, 23, I think. And can you imagine me thinking of the damage I've done to my brain? Not just my, you know, my body and the, I mean, God knows how long that tumour had been growing. But I'd made my body a fertile, hospitable place for that tumour to grow. And it isn't just about alcohol, you know, we live in toxic soup. It was, I said before, I had smoked and I'd vaped, not heavily, but I had. But this is a massively contributing factor, you know, it's a category 1 carcinogen. And I had a far more than I should have done over the years, and a substantial amount when I was still developing. And that makes me really sad. There's nothing I can do to go back and change it. But anyway, I said this one might sting a bit, and it is divisive, and some people will just completely disagree with what I'm saying. This is not my opinion. This is fact, and you can go and look it up for yourself. But I promise, it's been life-changing for me, and only in a good way. So yeah, 2 years tomorrow, no alcohol.